I think when we think about sex trafficking, it's usually nameless, faceless persons. But as a Christian, I thought about the person that I could see in Scripture who actually was a victim of sexual exploitation, and that would be Rahab. Definitely, Hebrews identifies her as a prostitute, but she's also identified as an ancestor of Christ. And so when we look at her story, what we see is something really amazing. It's a woman who had faith in God, but also needed the liberation from her condition by the people of God. It was the people of God who marched around Jericho, and in God's power were ultimately able to free her and her family. And so I thought of redeeming Rahab, because maybe we're at that kind of moment again in history where the people of God have to stand up and be used by God to redeem Rahab.
Sex trafficking is a huge issue that the church has to be talking about today. We know that as Christians, we are constantly engaged in spiritual warfare, and I believe that sex trafficking is a major front line that we have to be on. Sex trafficking impacts millions of people across the world, and included in those millions are people right here in our own backyards, people in our families, in our communities, in our schools. So it's very important that we are able to recognize victims of sex trafficking, recognize situations that are dangerous, and that is one of the things that we'll be learning about this weekend. We'll be learning about how to recognize that someone might be in a really dangerous situation, how to help protect our children and help inform them as well so they can help to try to protect themselves. The film that we're going to be watching on Friday, Nefarious, is an excellent introduction into the issue of sex trafficking. It definitely demonstrates how widespread and pervasive sex trafficking is, as well as how close to home it actually hits. I believe that we're going to have a really great discussion about this issue on Saturday as well, and it's going to be very informative, and I look forward to that conversation.
There are more slaves in the world right now than at any time in human history.
Trafficking is simply an exploitation of vulnerability.
No woman is on the streets because she just likes sex and/or wants money. This is a system of utter manipulation.
Jesus, I'm alone. Come and get me. Save me from myself.